Thanks for joining this Sunday morning for Yoga Hour. As you sit cross-legged here, close the eyes, turn your gaze low, take in a couple of breaths. And the word of the day is end. Like, how do you want this to end today? And if you write that last line, see yourself in that last pose, then back it up from there. How will we get there? How do you manage the movement, the breath, the mental attention and focus throughout? For me, and I'm thinking Shavasana. So how do I get to that point to release, to let go even for 1 minute of all of the workings of this past week, because it was a big one. Then bring the palms together and the thumbs to the sternum in Anjali Mudra. Bow into that end. Release the hands back down and shift the head from side to side. Make little half moons here to the right and to the left. Keep the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Walk the left hand out, little more stretch. And then take the right hand on top of the left ear, little more stretch. So we start easeful, chin down to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Walk the right hand out, take the left hand on top. We'll ebb and flow as always in Yoga Hour with poses, actions that feel more doable, some that feel more difficult. And hopefully the whole circle brings us to the end that we desire. All right, chin back down to the chest, and then lift the head and open the eyes. Good, let's get started with bigger movement in all fours. So you come to all fours, place the hands right under the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips, and do cat and cow. Do several rounds here in cat and cow. Inhale, pull the chest forward, eyes, tailbone up. On an exhale, press down through the hands and knees, round the back and drop the head. Back and forth we go. From from cat and cow, change to downward facing dog. I'm already thinking about the next thing. So downward facing dog here, pedal out your feet, continue to shake the head a little bit, giving these repetitive movements to our bodies so we know we're here, we're starting practice. Allow breath, allow mindset to be in that place. Take as much or as little movement as you like in down dog here for a few more breaths. How do I make that stop? Let's see. That should do it. From down dog, inhale, come forward to plank pose. Pull the heels in tight, squeeze the glutes, lengthen your tailbone, tone the belly. Look a little forward rather than down. Stick with the top of plank for 5 more seconds. And then either add push-ups, down and up, elbows straight back, or hands wider and out to the side. If you choose not to do a set of push-ups, hold longer in your plank pose at the top. 2 more push-ups. Go back to downward facing dog. Lower down to your knees and lift your right leg up and back in line with the spine. Flex the foot, point the toes down to the floor. Sometimes the weight likes to lean into the left side here. Pick up the hip, pick up the belly, strong into the center. And extend the left arm out in front, so opposite arm and leg are lifted here. And then simply set it down and go to the other side. Lift the left leg up and back. Lift the right arm out in front. Flex the foot, point the toes down. Feel as though you're building the belly up towards the sky, even a little round in the upper back. And then lower the hands, lower the knee. Sit all the way back on your heels, interlace the hands behind you. With the hands interlaced, squeeze the elbows close in, straighten the arms and lift the chest. This might be your end pose. The second end pose for this option is head down, arms up. So different phases of the pose. You pick which one is the end for you. And then release the hands, lift the torso back up. Go all the way back to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. And step it all the way forward into your low lunge. Bring both hands to the inside of your foot, spin the back heel down, and walk the hands out over the front left corner of the mat for down dog lunge. Actively press the feet down and away from one another, which should make the hips actually lift rather than sit lower. Crawl the fingertips maybe an inch further away from you. Good, and then bring the hands back in around the front foot. Step back to plank pose. Hold plank or add a little push-up in between. Downward facing dog for all of us. Left foot up into the air. Step it all the way through, low lunge. Spin the back heel down, walk both hands to the inside. And walk the hands out for down dog lunge on the second side. Again, actively press the feet down and away from one another. And keep trying to crawl the fingertips a little further out. One more breath like this. Then bring the hands in around the front foot. Step back to plank. Lots of option today to hold plank or put that push-up in between. Down dog. Another set of lunges, right leg high. Step the right foot all the way forward into the low lunge. This time, twisted lunge. Bring the hands all the way up to the front thigh and take the left elbow to the outside of the right leg. Place the palms together and point the right elbow up to the sky. I have my elbow hooked on the outside of the thigh. You could also be more lifted here, working the twist without the bind. Come through your center, place the hands down, step back to plank. Add in the push-up or don't. Down dog. Lift the left leg, step it all the way through. Build up to your twisted lunge, hands to the front thigh. Right elbow to the outside of the left leg, palms together. Point the left elbow up. Feel free to keep your gaze low to make that most doable. Turn to the side or look up for a little more challenge and balance. And we'll unhook, step back to plank. We know the routine now. Add the push-up or don't. Down dog. Stay here in down dog for 2 more breaths. And then bend the knees a lot and walk your hands backwards, backwards, backwards to the feet. Hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky, press down into your feet, and come all the way upright. Walk forward to the front of the mat. Chair pose, extend the arms up. Keep the torso lifted, but bend the knees and sit into your thighs. Utkatasana, power pose, so many different names for this great pose. From chair pose, keep the right foot forward and step your left foot back to move into high lunge. And then crescent lunge, palms together, thumb and first finger high to give you the lift and the effort, and then lean towards the right. As you lean straight over towards the right, you'll get this enormous big stretch and lift through the side of the torso, probably back down into your left thigh. We like that, but let's change it up just a little bit. Hinge forward at the hips to bring the stretch a little more into the back, the left side of your back. And then go back to your center, arms overhead. Step the left foot forward. Can you stay low? Tension in the legs for chair pose the entire time. Left foot stays forward, step your right foot back. You're in that high lunge, arms straight up to the sky. Interlace the hands, thumb and first finger, and lean to the left. Lean just a little bit forward here. Bring the stretch into the back. And again, back to the center. Can you stay low in the legs, chair pose as you step forward? Wrap the hands now behind your back. Send the head towards your knees or thighs and the arms up to the sky. Hands bound, power pose. Release the arms, stand all the way up, stretch the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to your yoga mat. Reach the arms back behind you. Turn the palms to the sky, Shalabhasana. Lift everything up that you possibly can. Lower it down, but stay right here. And switch the arms to the front. Superhero pose. Inhale, lift everything up. I got one more for you, friends. Lower it down. Take the hands behind your head. Point the elbows more out to the side. Inhale, lift up. Get all those belly down back bends together here. Lower it down. Press back to child's pose. Walk your hands over to the right side. Walk the hands across the middle on over to the left side. And bring the hands back to the middle. Through all fours to downward facing dog. Go three-legged dog again, right leg high. Bring it all the way forward, step forward to your low lunge. Spin your back heel down, come up to warrior two. So open your torso to face the side of the mat and extend your arms in either direction. Good, bend deeply into the front thigh and look over the front fingertips. You can have a little bit of movement here. Make it a more dynamic pose. Continue to find your edge and the seat. Stretch from the inner thigh to inner knee, broaden out, and then stack the knee right over the line of your ankle here. Change to triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, hinge from the hips. Lower the right hand down to your leg or the floor, the left arm to the sky. You're going for straight arms and legs here, which means that bottom hand can always stay higher on your leg to make that happen. Ready? Inhale, come back upright. Rebend the right knee. Both hands to your hips. And then take your front hand and hold on to your left shoulder, like Pledge of Allegiance a bit, right? Okay, dip your right shoulder down to the inner thigh. Can you match as much as possible your torso right along the line of your thigh? Straighten your right hand down towards the left foot. Same thing with the left hand on the back side. Stay and work the pose there, or bend both elbows and hook your hands underneath your thigh for bound lunge. Send your head more towards your knee. Look up towards the sky. Release the hands. Look down at your front foot for low lunge. Step back to plank. Chaturanga Dandasana is that little hover. Slide it into cobra or up dog. Up dog is straight arms and legs with the hips up. And then everyone down dog. Look forward in between your hands and step or jump to the front of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms high. Bring palms together, center of your chest. Long flow on that one side. Let's even it out here. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale and fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. Hands back for Shalabhasana. Inhale, lift everything that you can up. Can you keep your body lifted but change the arms forward to superhero? Continue to stay lifted. Change the hands again behind the head, elbows out to the side. Lower everything down, press back to child's pose. Change to down dog. Lift your left leg up, three-legged dog. Step all the way forward to low lunge. Okay, warrior two on the second side. Spin the back heel down, come upright, extend the arms out. Gaze out over your left fingertips this time. Few breaths, find your way in the pose. Straighten your front leg. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Uttita Trikonasana. Uttita meaning extended, so reach and extend as long as you can from hips to head, from shoulders to fingertips, from hips down to your feet. Change again, come back upright, rebend the front knee. So you see warrior two again, that's exactly the legs. And then we're adding on the arms, hands to the hips, left hand across to your right shoulder. Try to make your left shoulder touch your left inner thigh and knee. Lots of core strength right there, stay with it. Add on as much as you'd like from there. Straight arms or bend of the elbows. With the right hand going behind your back, the left hand under the thigh to try to catch hold. A lot of times the butt swings back and the head forward a lot to get that bind. That's fine. And then just work on refinement of head more back, hips a little more forward. Release the bind. Go into your low lunge. Step back to plank. That little hover right above knees or toes for Chaturanga Dandasana. And then to your cobra or up dog. Everyone, downward facing dog. Look forward to your hands. Step or jump to the front. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. Every end creates a new beginning. So from the little flow series, we're going to move into 2 steady balance poses. First is eagle pose. Let's take the arms up to the sky. Start in chair pose. Bend the knees, sit into your thighs. So we've already been here. Let the body know it, feel it, breathe it. And then cross the right leg up high over the left. And the foot can circle to the back of the calf. If you don't get that second wrap, no big deal. You could also move yourself over to hold onto a wall or chair to be more stable. Right elbow under the left. Wrap back to the shoulders or the hands. In the Wednesday class this week, we're going to break down lots of things about eagle pose. Today, we're just mapping it on the body. Set the right foot down, lift both arms up to the sky. Again, bend the knees, sit into thighs. Wrap the left leg on top of the right. Again, the higher you can cross at the thighs, the more extra space you have in the calf to wrap the foot back towards the line of the Achilles heel. And then left arm under the right, hold shoulders back or front of hands. Try to point the knees more forward. Lean back in head and shoulders and squeeze everything towards your midline. And then unwrap your leg, unwrap the arms, lift back high. Keep the arms overhead and kick your right heel to your butt. Going for dancer pose here. We're going to do this from a serving platter today, palm up. And then catch the inside of your foot. We had dancer pose in the sequence last month as well. I mostly catched hold of the outside of the foot. So this is leveling things up, palm open, big toe side changes how we open in the shoulders. Tilt forward. As you tilt forward, lift, lift, lift through the back leg. If that gets you stuck in low back or hamstrings, just bend the standing leg to give yourself a little more space. Come back to stand on 2 feet. Shake it out. Second side here, start with the lift. Arms overhead. So we want to use all the length that we can. Left heel to the butt, palm up. Catch the inside edge of the foot. Lift the left thigh back and up. As you do so, hinge at the hips. Keep going forward towards a T shape in the body and the torso. Stand on 2 feet. Shake it out a little bit. Good, still a balance pose, but this time with 2 feet on the floor. Come up to the front of your mat. Lift both arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the right foot forward. Step your left foot back into a long, low lunge. This is working us towards twisted triangle pose. So if your feet are, say, 4 feet apart here, hop the back foot in so you're maybe 3 feet apart. A little bit shorter. Spin the back heel down and line up heel to heel. We're going to walk this one through a little bit slow. Take the hands to the waist and lift your torso until you can make your right leg straight. 2 straight legs. And then with your hands at the hips, can you make both of those bony hip points that stick out at the front face totally forward? Usually that back hip is a little bit lifted out to the side, so I'm going to do my best to turn it down and forward. You do the same. Within that, can you hinge just a little bit more forward and extend the left arm out in front so that you create a longer line from your hip to the shoulder and head, and then all the way out to the fingertips with no breaks. Now, add the twist. Left hand goes down to the floor. You can hold your leg as well, a block if you happen to be using it. Right arm up to the sky. Now, where you put that bottom hand is up to you. It can be nice to hook it kind of to the outside of the calf and help with balance. Everyone bring both hands back to the waist as you untwist and lift the torso. Little bend in both knees to step forward. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the left foot forward, step the right foot back. And I don't care for how many years I've practiced this pose, I just kind of need the slower entry. So again, we've got 4 feet apart. We're going to go a little shorter, not a lot, just a little. And then back heel down. Line up heel to heel. Some folks like to keep that back leg even a little further out to the side for more ease and balance. It just makes the twist a little harder to come to. So it's like, what are we prioritizing to get to your end? Straighten the left leg and lift the torso so that you can do so. And again, you're thinking of arms being just an extension of the spine. I'm going to keep the right arm there. Left hand stays on the hip and come as far parallel torso to the ground as possible. And that'll give the longest line from the hip out to the hand. Set the right arm down now, inside, outside of the foot, maybe hook to the outside of the thigh or calf, and left arm out to the side, up to the sky. Slow untwist. Come all the way back upright. Little bend in both knees and step forward. Inhale, lift the arms to the sky again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Push back, child's pose. Stay there in child's pose. Now, traditionally, there's one more standing balance sequence in this sequence. I'm not going to do it today so that we can focus on some poses down the road a little bit more. I want to get to certain things at the end. Come up to all fours. Twisted child's pose. Place the right arm under the left. Set the right shoulder, ear, side of the face down to the mat. And reach your left arm out in front. Try to square the hips. So if you're like me, I like to lean to the left here. So I've got to pull back on the right side. And then you can add on some stages. Left arm up to the sky. Or even tuck it behind your right hip. And then left hand back beside your face. And come all the way up to all fours. Take the left hand underneath your right hand, shoulder, ear, side of the face, down to the ground, and extend the right arm out in front. Pull the right hip back. Work there or add on, right hand up to the sky, maybe behind the left hip. Release, right hand back beside your face, and use it to help you come up to all fours. Okay, hands stay under our shoulders, knees come together. This is like the beginning of class. Lift your right leg up and back. Extend the left arm out in front. This table pose, opposite arm and leg lifted. We're going to elevated bow pose. Bend the back knee and lift the right thigh. Stopping stage there, or a little more challenging, take the left hand, hold on to the right foot, kick the heel more towards the right to square off hips and shoulders, and then try to lift a little bit higher. Release your bind, straighten the arm and leg again. Now keep the right leg lifted, but set the left hand down. We're going the same arm and leg. The left foot can kind of kick behind you off the mat. And as you lift the right hand, open up to the side. Can you imagine that you're in half moon pose, but you're not having to balance on your foot? Instead, you're on your bottom knee, like that. Kick your right heel again to your butt. Reach the right hand, hold on to your foot, and kick back. Remember this for a little later in class. Release and come back to all fours. Knees, hands on the ground. Maybe a little circle around each direction. Reaffirm thumb, first finger down to the mat a lot so there's not too much pressure in the back of the wrist. Let's try it on the second side. Left leg. Right hand. If your wrists are getting fatigued, you can come up to fingertips or make a fist with the bottom hand. Part of the work is training and strengthening through the wrist here. Bend the back knee. Take the right hand, hold on to the left foot. Kick the heel closer to the left side, and then see what you can do to lift a little bit higher. Straight arm and leg. Lower the right hand down. Lift the left hand up. Again, you can kick the right foot kind of back off of your mat and open up totally to the side. Stack your left hip on top of the right. Make your torso look to the side. Now you want to grab the hold of that back foot again. Kick the left heel in. Reach, grab back, and push back. And some of you, we're already naturally going to do this. You can bring the knee into the front, try to catch hold, and then open up. Release it all down, all fours. Get totally off the wrist. Sit down on your butt. Feet out in front of you. Boat pose. Start in boat pose with feet down, knees bent, arms out. Lift the chest up. Some other end poses here. Lift the feet up. Straighten the legs. If you lose a little bit of the chest and dip down, maybe hold on behind the legs. Give yourself that point of balance to lift again and then try arms out. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nicely done. Lie down onto your back. Leg extensions. Take your hands underneath you and feet straight up to the sky. We're going to take a little bit of a This will be most doable. We work towards more difficult poses as well. If you want more difficult, hands behind the head, even a crunch of head and shoulders off of the mat. Nice and slow, lower the feet down till they're about a foot off of the ground, and then straight back up. If you're looking for a more doable range, maybe you're working with a little diastasis in the abdomen, go 1 foot at a time here, 1 leg at a time down, and it'll keep you a little safer. 2 feet together as works. Imagine pushing your mid to low back down, down, down the entire time, even with the movement of the legs. Nice and slow. Go 1 more round. Then bend the knees. Give yourself a good little hug. Cross at your ankles. Rock forward and up. Place the hands forward of your feet. And can you shoot the legs back into plank pose? A step, a jump, whatever works. And then into downward facing dog. Take the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Pull the right knee into the chest and hover forward and plank. I'm going to call this knee push-ups. Keep your arms straight. The knee lowers towards about the line of your wrist and then up to the line of your elbows. Down to the wrist, up to the elbows, down to the wrist, up to the elbows. Set the knee now behind the right wrist, heel more towards the left side of the mat. Pigeon pose, walk the left leg back, back, back until you're sitting a little heavier on the left thigh and you can come down to the forearms here. In pigeon pose, right knee towards the right, tuck the heel in close to the left hip. For more doability, more challenge, the left heel comes out closer to the left elbow. If you're doing that challenge, the deeper opening in the hips, flex instead of point the front foot. We're giving ourselves a little bit of a slow down here. Breath fast, movement has been fast up to this point. Just give yourself a moment. All right, let's come on over to the other side. So just walk the hands up, tuck the back toes, down dog. Lift the left leg up. We've got those knee push-ups in between if you choose to take them. Left knee in. Lower down. Lift. Lower towards the line of the wrist. Up. Lower down. And lift. Set the left knee to the left wrist. Heel towards the right hip. Walk the right leg back until more of your right thigh is on the ground. Fold over down to the forearms. So we're letting this be about the hips, less about the length, stretch, or back bend of the spine. Just the hips here. Walk it back up to the hands. All the way through to downward facing dog. And then come forward to plank pose. We've done bow in a lot of different ways. We're going to do traditional bow pose here. Lie down onto your belly. Bend both knees. Feet can be together, knees apart to start here. Reach your hands back in the air. Lift everything up. And then try to reach the hands to the feet. With that closed chain, There's usually the ability to power up a little bit more. Press your feet into your hands, your knees back, and your chest forward. Look straight ahead, or even a little bit higher than you think you can. Lower everything down. Push back to child's pose. Change to dog pose again. Little bend in the knees, walk your hands backwards to your feet. And then take the hands to the hips, point the elbows up to the sky, push down into your feet and come on up to standing. Walk up to the front end of your yoga mat and take your feet about as wide as your mat. You can stay there at the front of your mat, again, feet about as wide as the mat. I'm going to walk you through arm pressure pose, arms up to the sky. And then just think of a squat. Squat with heels down and butt up and back. Bring your arms about parallel to the ground. At this point, even reach in and kind of get in a little more depth. Pull the flesh and all of the parts more to the inside of your legs. Forearms together, and then serve back. Reach your hands back. As you reach your hands through your legs, keep trying to get your upper body to sink lower and through. Now turn your fingers so they face the direction of your toes and set the fingers on the ground, behind the line of your heels and more narrow. Okay, our arms are trying to make a shelf for us to sit on. Yes, a shelf to sit on your arms. To get the heel of the hand down, I've got to give a little bit of faith here that when I lean back, I've already been on hands and knees a lot. I've seen the power that I have in the wrist, so I know I can sit back and hold. And then with the thighs literally resting on your upper arm bones, can you grab your feet off of the ground? Try to cross at the ankles. This is called arm pressure pose because you're literally putting the pressure of your legs on your arms. But at the same time, try to push your arms out, out, out into your legs. Bhuja Padasana. Set your feet down. Go through each of the stages, arms straight out in front. So your seat has to go about as high as the thighs here. And as you work lower into the pose, it goes a little lower. But I want us to see this squat for just a moment more. You're here, you're here, you're here. And then stand all the way back up. As you stand up, bring your feet hip distance apart. Give me Utkatasana, your power pose, one more time. Chair pose, sit down into the thighs, lift the torso. We did this at the beginning. Right foot stays forward, step your left foot back into your lunge. Nice and slow, lower your left knee down to the ground, but keep everything else that you're doing. Lift up and maybe a little bit back here. An Anjane Asana. That heart opening pose. Lower the hands down either side of the front foot. Pick up your back knee and pause. Take your right hand to the sky. You get a little twist in. Lower the right hand down. Step the left foot forward. Deep bend in the thighs and the knees. Utkatasana, extend the arms, lift the torso towards vertical. Keeping that, step the right foot back. High lunge. You're doing this as much as possible. Everything stays with it. Slowly lower the right knee down. Once the right knee touches the ground, push it down and pull forward with isometric strength. The action without the movement. Exhale, lower the hands either side of the front foot, lift the back knee. Take the left hand high into your twisted, revolved lunge. Lower the left hand down, step back to plank. 8-angle pose, or 8-point pose, I should say. Lower the knees down and lower the chest and chin. It's like this little grasshopper ready to pounce. You've got chin, chest, hands, knees, toes down, hips lifted. And then set the belly down and lift for Sphinx pose, forearms underneath the line of the shoulders. Press forearms down, lift the chest. We've got another look at one-legged bow pose. Bend the right knee. Reach the right hand to grab hold of the foot again. Left hand can stay just as is, or take the left forearm across the center line of the body to give you a little more even balance in the front side of the body. Release the leg, go back to Sphinx. Try it on the second side. Left heel to the seat. Reach the left hand, hold on to the foot. Again, right hand can stay straight ahead or cross over. Try to lift your thigh off the ground. Can that happen? Not really. Release back to Sphinx pose. Okay, downward facing dog. Place the hands under your shoulders. Lift up and back. I know for me, if my end is Shavasana, I have to totally wear myself out, do all of the challenge necessary to find that release. So this is another big challenge. Side plank. Let's go right hand, outer edge of the right foot. Stack the feet and take the left arm up to the sky. Okay, we've been doing all those one-legged bow positions. This is the last opportunity for it. Kick your left heel to your seat. Reach the left hand back. Grab a hold of your foot. We did it with knee down a little earlier. Try it here. Outer edge of the foot. Kick, kick, kick. Go back, down dog. Do what you can. Try your best. Second side, left hand, outer edge of the left foot. Let's stack the feet, right hand up to the sky. Y'all with me? Good option is to take that bottom knee down. Do the option, the variation that's going to work best for you. Kick the right heel back. Maybe it's not grabbing hold, but doing the work of the heel. Maybe it's hand reaching. Oh, down dog. Good, full stuff there. Knee down to the ground. Child's pose. Let yourself sink in and just rest for a moment. And then build your torso upright. Sit back on your heels and bring the knees together. Twist to the right, just nice easy twist here, nothing big. Twist to the left. Change, hands in front of you. Lean forward to tuck the toes and pull your knees off of the ground. So you're in a little squat, heels up. Hands out in front. Enhancing the twist that we just did, I want you to point both of your knees to the left, but keep your hands out in front. So if both knees are faced towards the left side, but the hands are still out in front, That left elbow, like in bound lunge where we were trying to get our torso down towards the line of the thigh. Keep folding over. It's a forward fold with the twist, so that the elbow can kind of pin the legs back. Flat palms. Other elbow is free, not resting on a hip, not resting on your legs. Lift up a little bit, lean into that left hand so that you've got a shelf again for both legs on the left upper arm bone. Lean your head down and forward, pick your feet up. Side crow, and then the feet go back down and to the center. Knees straight ahead, fingertips straight ahead. Okay, there's one more side. Make your knees face the other way, and then automatically you're twisting to set the hands still in the same place. Go to flat palms. And I'm lifting out of the pose a little bit, so I have the room. Kind of walk the feet a little bit to the side. Set the right hand back down if you had lifted it up so that it has its shelf. Lean forward and down to take the feet up. Again, left elbow ideally is free. Bring it back down. Everything to the center. Gaze about a foot in front of you. Just breathe. Lie down onto your back for bridge pose. In bridge pose, take your hands to reach towards your heels. So we just did lots of twist and crunch in. We're going to open it back out through the front side of the body. Press down through feet, shoulders, head, and lift your hips up. This is the end part of the sequence I don't usually get to based on timing. Hooray, we've made it here. Celebrate your bridge pose. Lower the hips down. Yogis, if that feels like your great end, you're going to do it once or twice more. I'm going to give us some level up options here into upward facing bow. We've done all the bow shapes from our belly down. Now we're putting it belly up. So the body is trained. It's worked its way through the practice. You're ready. Place the hands under the line of your shoulders with the fingers facing, again, towards the line of your toes. Direction of the toes, I should say. And then it's bridge pose. You lift the hips up. For those staying in bridge, you're there. Upward facing bow, press into your hands to go to the top of your head. Don't roll. Pick up and set down. And then you either stay there, staring at your elbows, or push into your hands more to lift your head up and go towards straighter arms. I like to lift up, heels off the floor to get in a little more. Lower yourself back down, nice and safe. This pose is coming at us in threes. So we've had bridge pose. We've had the option for upward facing bow. Third time around, I give you the option to stay down and just experience here the after effect. Maybe that's the end. A third bridge or a third upward facing bow. Go for it. Give yourself about 5 or 6 breaths to explore this last round. Bridge or upward facing bow. Add in your own flair. What feels right to you? What caps off this practice? And then enough is enough. Come on down. Find your way, knees into chest. Give it a hug, a little bit of a shift from side to side. Remember that eagle pose that we did? Let's do it here. Right leg on top of the left, so eagle pose, lying down on your back. Cross the right leg over the left. Cross the right arm under the left. Elbows and knees away from one another. And then crunch in. As you set the shoulders down, the arms out to either side, set both knees still in that eagle legs over towards the left. It's a pretty intense twist. If it feels a little too much, unwrap the legs, stack the right leg on top of the left instead. And then bring it across the center. Wrap the left leg over the right. Wrap the left arm under the right. Crunch up. And then open. Set the arms back to the T. Let both knees fall to the right. Keep the wrap or stack the legs. Pull it all back into the center. Soles of the feet down, let the knees fall in. Bring the hands to low belly and hips to release, relax in the low back. Go to your end pose, your Shavasana. Relax the arms and legs down by your side, close the eyes. If your Shavasana takes a different form, that's fine as well. We know there's always a next beginning, but do your best right here in this moment to just be at the end. What does that feel like? Total release, surrender. And then ever so slowly, attention back, breath and body together, a bit of movement. Take your time to come back to a seated position. Bring palms together, thumbs to your heart. Be brave, be strong, be soft, be caring to yourself throughout the rest of this day and into the coming week. We need it all. We'll close together in the sound of Om. You're welcome to sing along. You're welcome to listen. You're welcome to tune it out. Empty out the breath. Take a deep breath in. And from the light within me, I bow to that light within each of you. Namaste.